Okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Gaming Blog Podcast, Episode 2, recorded on October 1st, 2020. I'm your host, Andrew Arana. Joined to me today is my co-host, Roger Bennon.
Hi.
And my other co-host, Jacob Ward.
How's it going?
How is it going? This is a podcast where you can get the latest and greatest news in video games from the previous week. We also discuss things about ourselves related to video games. Video games. It sounded like a Midwesterner right there.
Vidya.
You play the video games? Video games. Today we're going to talk about some things such as Xbox Series X's are in the wild. PlayStation 5 is having some strange news, some not such great news, and literally one thing happened for Nintendo this week, and it's really not that big. So we're going to get into that later. First of all, I want to ask my co-hosts, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing okay.
That's it?
That's it.
Fantastic.
I mean, I'm alive. If that answers that question.
You know, in 2020, that is a good thing to be.
Yeah.
Because not everyone can say
That's an
they're
achievement,
alive,
yeah.
physically or mentally alive, honestly, because a lot of us are dead on the inside. Roger, what have you been up to? Like, have you just like stared at the wall this last week, or you've been doing things? Like,
I've stared at the window too. I mean, I try and spice it up.
Okay. Fair enough. Maybe when the sun's rising, you're like,
No.
now I have a chance to look directly into it.
I've been
go to bed.
I've been super busy with like school and shit, so that's been a lot of my free time.
Feel that. That's on our other podcast, Levi. That's his life right now, school. Like,
Yeah,
he's just engulfed in it.
Yeah, it's pretty
I've just
bad.
been working.
Yeah, and Jake, you've just been working.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just working.
Yeah, Jake's just been working, so.
Hey, you got to get on that grind.
I mean, one of us has to.
Exactly. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
work. Someone's gotta pay the
facts.
bills around here. I make podcasts that like some people listen to.
Someone's got to pay rent.
Not making a dime off these. Not until Raycon earbuds sponsors us.
Or Raid Shadow Legends.
Or Raid Shadow Legends. Come on, do it, guys. You know
Hashtag not an ad.
All right. Well, like I said earlier, we have a lot to talk about on today's show. But before we get to that, I want to know, what have you guys been playing this week? I've been playing a lot of Attack on Titan 2 Final Battle that came out last year, and it's just the Attack on Titan anime game made by Koei Tecmo.
Isn't Attack on 2 like, doesn't it like also cover like it's like also the first game and then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you want to play the first game, just get the second game because it also has DLC for the third season as well. So you just hit everything that's been done on the show so far.
Do you even have to watch the show? Like, can I just not watch the third season?
I mean, it's kind of like there's some beats that don't translate as well. I think some emotional parts that aren't as great. But if you just want the broad plot line, you can just
it says the plot beat for beat. It tells you everything that's happening. Like,
there's a new character that's just kind of there as things happen.
I've never watched the second season, and second season I know everything
was like okay at best. Like, it was nowhere near the first season.
Season 3 was pretty good though. I mean, season 1's still like Queen, but
yeah, Queen. I've heard season 3 was good, but season 1 was really good for me, and season 2 just.
I'm excited for 4. 4 is going to be the end of it, which it really feels like a show like that shouldn't be over already.
I feel like it should be.
I feel like it should be over personally.
Enough.
I don't know. It just feels like it's like a lot of things happened like very suddenly in season 2, and it's like, oh,
that's okay.
Okay.
That's all right.
I don't know. I like it when they like, you know, actually like have an endpoint. It's just not forever.
Me too.
Well, welcome to our anime podcast.
Yeah, welcome to the Weird Clock Hour. Well, that's what I've been playing. I honestly haven't really been playing anything else. What about you, Roger? You been playing any new games? Are you still in that Nier Automata?
No, I finished that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Congrats.
Super good. And have you guys played that game by chance? I know Jake hasn't.
Yes, I have.
Nah, I've been meaning to pick it up.
So as you know, at the end of the game, you get to make a certain decision that pretty much makes it so that you're done with the game, and I did that. So, so I'm like, so I gotta find something else to play now. And
look for the spoilers.
Well, yeah, because that game you can replay it so many times, but yeah.
Yeah. I got all the endings. I mean, not like all the joke endings, but I got all the main endings and stuff. And
All the main ones, yeah. That's
I was
good.
pretty satisfied with it. I really liked it. And
Yeah.
what I've been playing in my spare time now is the old the original Black Ops 1. I've been playing the zombies mode on that. And
Dude, like, heck yeah, man.
and I've been playing this puzzle game, the Talos Principle, I think is what it's called. I've been playing that in my free
Yeah,
time.
no, I think that's a Square Enix published game. I think.
Is it really? That'd be like
I
really.
think so.
That'd be such a
I feel like
coincidence if it
someone
was.
really weird published that game because I have that game, but I feel like it was like someone like Bandai or someone big where you're like, wait, they published this? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong. Who published it?
Yeah, I could look it up,
Developer.
but
Pro Team.
I'm not going
Nintendo.
to.
Oh, Devolver Digital. That's who it was, not Square Enix. Okay, that makes sense. Actually, they're
Devolver's
smaller.
cool. I like Devolver.
Yeah, they're smaller, but I just remember seeing like someone bigger. I'm like, oh, they published this game, weird. But Devolver makes sense.
Yeah,
I wonder what name I'm thinking of.
I like those games where it's, I don't know, I just like doing a puzzle philosophy game, like every now and then. I can't do a lot of them at the same time or back to back, but I like doing it every now and then. I just do a couple of puzzles a day.
Like Mario's Picross.
I mean, it's all like Portal without the portal, though. Like.
I mean, Roger, you're the guy who also just enjoys sitting down with a good old Sudoku puzzle.
Yeah,
hey,
I mean, you got me there.
The old man.
There's a video of this guy solving a miracle Sudoku, is what he calls it, and it's one of the best videos I've ever seen. I'm like, unironically, I love that video because he just looks at this Sudoku puzzle and he's like, "There's no way I can solve this," and then he just solves it. It shows like 2 numbers on it, and just seeing the level of excitement and glee this guy gets from being able to solve this impossible Sudoku puzzles, like, it makes me want to be a better person. I unironically love that video.
I have a quick question, Jake. How does Roger sound for you?
He's kind of breaking up. He's got like static every now and then. Like pretty much every other word he says, it pops.
All right, yeah, that's what it sounds like for me too. I don't know if it's like recording that static because I know it records locally what he's saying, so I don't know if it's just the connection or if it's actually his headset.
Sorry, I don't know. It could be a connection. It could be the government trying to not let me get out my Sudoku. So.
Oh my God, it's
probably
Jason
that
Bourne.
one. Oh, there's the police. Sirens are on our end.
Sound the alarm.
Are you doing a wired or wireless connection right now?
Me, wireless.
Oh, you're doing wireless?
Yeah.
That's probably what it is, honestly.
I'm wireless too.
It's the only way I'm going to be able to be heard. So I mean, that get to be a good or bad thing, but.
Well, hopefully it doesn't carry through. If it does, well, sorry everyone. If it doesn't, then you don't even know what we're talking about.
Look, by podcast 5, we'll have it figured out.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, everyone knows the first couple episodes of every podcast, it's going to be a little rough. It's going to, getting through the growing pains and things like that.
Don't even watch it.
All right. Yeah. Well, Jake, what have you been playing?
I played a little bit of the Attack on Titan game that you've been playing. I'm not quite as far as you are, even though we were supposed to play it together. But I've mostly been playing Fist of the North Star Paradise or Lost Paradise, which is basically just a Yakuza game with a Fist of the North Star skin on it.
Yeah,
but it's super fun. I enjoy doing killing everyone and making them explode. It's pretty fun. It's kind of a button masher, but it fits in with the show pretty well.
Yeah, no, I've been watching you play it, and I've actually never played it, which is crazy because
I've never even heard of it, but it sounds cool.
Oh, it's super cool. I think it was on sale on PlayStation for like $10, $8, something like that. It's still on sale. You should pick it up.
Yeah, no, it's really good, and especially if you're a Yakuza fan. I mean, it's Yakuza through and through.
Yakuza, I've always wanted to get into it, but there's like so many of them.
I mean, because this is an anime podcast now. Have you seen the Fist of the North Star show?
A little bit of it, and I haven't.
At least like the memes from it.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, that's the best part.
It embraces like just kind of the ridiculousness of the show, and
I mean, they have to know by now that that's the draw of that whole franchise.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's great too because like I said it's basically a Yakuza game. You can download a skin that lets you play as Kiryu from Yakuza as the main character because it's the same voice actor for him and Kinshiro.
Wow.
Because they didn't get the original guy back because I guess the original voice actor for Kinshiro doesn't enjoy doing that role anymore because it puts so much strain on his voice.
Right. Kind of like
but I think he.
Joker.
Mm-hmm. But I think he does a pretty good job. Like when I first heard him talk, I was just like, "Is that the original guy?" Like it sounds like Kiryu, but like is Kiryu's voice actor the original voice actor for Kinshiro? And no, it's just he does a really good. Like his voice is just really close enough that it works.
That's cool. All right.
Yeah, super fun.
Next on the Weeaboo lineup we got.
Let's talk about K-On! No, I'm kidding.
K-On!
We don't have enough time for that.
All right, well, that's what we're playing this week. So we have a question for you all.
We have an answer.
And I'll admit, this question is from a different podcast that I've heard, but I want your guys' opinion on
I was
this.
just stealing content now.
I'm cool with it.
This is a hard-hitting question.
Hit me.
Is cereal with milk in a bowl soup?
I've heard that argument before.
Is cereal with milk in a bowl soup?
Well, what is soup?
Yeah, but like, what's the definition of soup? I guess. Like, is it just liquid in a bowl with like stuff in it? Because I mean, I guess
definition or not, would you call it a soup?
Oh God, no! I don't want to get taken out to the streets and shot. Like, it's cereal.
Yeah, the freaking Captain Crunch rolls up with his posse. It's like,
look,
I'm the cereal police.
I'm not looking to be an outcast, all right? I don't want my family to immediately disown me, so I'm going to keep calling it cereal.
What do you think, Jake? Is cereal a soup?
I
mean, technically, yes, right? Like, it has to be. Like, on a technical term, yes. Like,
well, I'm gonna. I don't know. I really don't have an opinion either way on it. I guess.
But it's like, think of it like this way: like when people ask for like Kleenex, you know, and it's not Kleenex is a brand or something, but
yeah,
that's just what
they want a tissue.
What people ask for, yeah.
But that's not the same thing. It's that. Well, like if you ask for cereal, you're gonna get a bowl of milk with some Cheerios in it. If you ask for soup,
right.
You're gonna get some chicken noodle soup.
What I'm saying is apply that same logic, right? Like it's just you know what we call it. Like technically, yes, it is.
I don't completely agree with that. If I walked up to say my significant other and said, "Hey, can you make me a bowl of morning soup?" I think she would understand what I mean.
I don't think so. I think she would make you like some clam chowder or something like that.
No,
I think you gotta test it out.
Cereal. We might have to get back to this.
I think if you went up to someone and was like, "Hey, can you make me morning soup?" They'd be like, "What?"
Maybe you would, but what if they are like, "Do you mean cereal?" I mean, that would imply they kind of understood what you're talking about.
That's true.
I would not have connected the dots to cereal. I would have been like, "Do you want like a porridge or?"
Yeah, well, you're super dumb, Jacob. So like, you gotta take the average person and see how they would react.
Perhaps
I'm on the next brain level. I can't put myself down to that level.
Perhaps they are just uneducated, and because now if anyone comes up to you, Jake, and says, "Can I have a bowl of morning soup?" You're immediately going to think of cereal now.
But I literally in the entire 23 years I've been alive, I've never heard anyone ever say morning soup.
For the next 23 years,
yeah, that's about
every time you hear morning soup, you're gonna think of cereal.
I know you're gonna say it. I know you're gonna be like, "I want some soup," and go into the kitchen and come back with a bowl of cereal.
If we just educate the world, I think this connects well. I think you would say cereal is a type of soup, and I think we just need to educate everyone on Earth.
Soup is a liquid dish typically made by boiling meat, fish, or vegetables, etc., in stock or water.
Okay, it
I don't know. Also, pasta and stuff. Always. What about like ramen or alphabet soup or stuff like that?
Ramen's a soup.
That's what I'm saying. But it's a pasta. It's not like a meat or vegetable. I mean, you can put it in there, but so it's not
the same with chicken noodle soup. There's generally noodles and.
That's what I'm saying. It's not exclusively those. So if it's not exclusively those, it can kind of be anything, including
But
cereal.
it says a liquid dish in stock or water.
What says a liquid dish?
Huh?
You can have water with cereal. People do that.
Yeah, but that's
I'm
not ready to
that's a
jump that
different
line.
class of people I wouldn't want to associate with.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that these people are sane. These are the insane people, but they're people nonetheless.
Wait, so soup is only water? Like,
okay, no, it says
by putting water in it.
Milk can be. It's just food that is largely liquid, so milk does count.
I was about to say because you can make soup with milk as well.
Wait,
are you looking up a definition of it? Did you look up the definition of soup? Oh,
because I needed to know.
So it said milk as well.
It says it just has to be liquid. It doesn't have to be primarily water or stock.
Well, there you go.
If it's majority liquid.
Cereal's a soup then. Definitely.
Yeah, it's confirmed, yeah.
Any oats or wheat that humans consume are traditionally cereal. Soup, on the other hand, is defined as a liquid food prepared by boiling.
I'll boil my cereal.
Therefore, soup is anything that extracts flavor from a product by letting it soak in broth.
That doesn't make sense either, because you can get canned soup and that's not boiled.
In that case, cereal is wheat and soup is stew. What? That's
so
just even more confusing.
Stew. Okay, you know what? I think for the sake of our audience and for our own sanity, we just got to get away from this.
Is tea a soup?
Wait a second, we're on to something here.
Tea a broth.
Have some morning stew. Just pours you a cup of tea.
Light tea.
Took that for a turn I never would have expected. Yo, it's tea a soup. All right.
I like this one. It just says it's milk a soup. Just milk.
Yeah, nothing else. Just milk. With that, we're going to go ahead and get into our top stories of the week. So last time we discussed a little bit and we decided that anything more than 5 was a little too much for our stories since we talk so much about it and there are 3 of us and we all want to get an opinion in. So I've gone ahead and I've condensed the news stories down to the top 5 news stories of this week. Mind you, we do record on Thursday evenings. It's a little late on Thursday today, so we had all Thursday's news. Thank you, Jake. I'm going to cut that. I'm going to cut that out. So I guess that
I assumed you would, but then you had to acknowledge it.
Maybe I have to leave it in now.
We're all talking about it for the next 20 minutes.
I acknowledged it and it's like, oh, it's in.
It's there now.
I condensed this down to 5 news stories.
I'm sorry.
And these are in no particular order. Number 1, Steve from Minecraft is officially in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. From Polygon, written by Michael McWhorter. Good name, sir. The headline is Minecraft is coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The cast of Minecraft, namely Steve, Alex, Enderman, and Zombie, is coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Game director Masahiro Sakurai confirmed the fighting game's next add-on characters during a video presentation this Thursday. Smash Bros. Minecraft DLC will include many of the abilities seen in Mojang's popular sandbox game, like building, explosives, minecarts, and flying wings. Sakurai promises to reveal more about the Minecraft DLC for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate during a presentation on Saturday, October 3rd at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 a.m. Pacific Time, right before Mojang's Minecraft Live event kicks off. Quote, "Even I didn't think this day would come," end quote, Sakurai said during the video revealing Steve, Alex, and company. Quote, "When thinking about new fighters for this game, we don't just pick my favorites or draw from a hat. More often than not, these discussions start by Nintendo approaching me with an idea. Of course, if I can't do that idea justice, I'll tell them no," end quote. So, guys, Minecraft is in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Like I said earlier, it's Steve, Alex, Enderman, and Zombie, and from what it seems, they all have the same abilities. They're all just skins.
Well, no. So did you guys? They released a bit of a trailer for it. Have you guys seen it?
So I woke up at 8:59, clicked on YouTube, watched the trailer, went okay, and fell back asleep. So
that's what I did too.
So it made a huge impression on you, is what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely. When I saw that, I was just like, personally, okay, how about this? Here's a good question. Do you guys even care about Smash Brothers DLC and then more specifically Minecraft DLC for Smash Brothers? Because me, I'm kind of over this game. Like, I love it. I'll play it sometimes, but I'm definitely not hyped and excited about new characters anymore. That time has passed for me.
I mean, yeah, I would probably kind of agree with that, but like it's not. I don't know. I just don't view it as like a negative thing. Like I had my fun with that game. I still have my fun from time to time. And it's a cool little like party game, and like I just I just never consider myself a big enough fan to like get the DLC, or I just didn't feel it necessary. So I don't know. What do you think, Jake?
I am neither here nor there on it. I still get excited about the Smash reveals, even though I don't play it as much as I used to. I just at this point, I think I've pretty much everyone I would want in the game is in the game, minus maybe like Crash Bandicoot, but I
See, that's
mean,
how I felt a lot.
or Dante from the Devil May Cry series. Which we still have 4 more fighters to be revealed, and there's a good chance that either of those guys could be in there. So I mean, it makes sense to me to put Minecraft representation in there. I didn't think it'd be a character. I thought it'd probably be like a Mii costume or a stage or something like that. But I think they went all out with it, which is nice. They didn't just kind of make like a 3D model of Steve and throw him in there and give him like the
They didn't
throw
make
a
a.
TNT block as a bomb or something like that. They actually like you build blocks. He moves like he does in the game. He looks like he does in the game.
Yeah.
They basically just took him out of Minecraft and put him into Brawl or Smash Brothers.
Yeah, definitely.
So on that part, I think they definitely did the character justice. I think it's cool that he's in there. I wasn't too excited for it when I saw it. Like as soon as you heard the skeleton bone rattle and the spider sound and all that, but before he even showed up, I was just like, oh, okay, it's Minecraft. So,
Yeah.
the stage looks cool. I like how there's different biomes every time you start it, which is neat.
It's crazy that it's actually like it's not just like a character; it's like a whole Minecraft lineup, right? Like
oh yeah,
it's the 4 characters, and they each have like different movesets and stuff. So it's to me it's kind of a bigger deal than their usual DLC. So like I don't know, I think it's kind of neat. I never really did any of the DLC for that game because I had everybody I wanted on launch, so
Yeah.
I was pretty satisfied. But I don't know.
I will say this fighter pass has definitely been not as exciting as the first one with Min Min and Minecraft Steve and Alex
Oh
being
yeah, I
the
forgot
big
Min
two.
Min was even like a thing. I bought it.
Yeah.
I have her, but like
I still haven't got I still I'm still haven't yet felt the need to buy the second fighters pass until they get a character where I'm like I need I would like to play as Min Min and try her out. I think Steve will be an interesting
she's fine.
addition. I thought Min Min was interesting just because of how far her reach was and how much of like distance game she could play.
Yeah.
And whereas Steve is like the exact opposite, where he's very up close and probably one of the shortest range characters in the game. It's interesting they didn't use the bow and arrow at all in his moveset.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think say it.
Mm-hmm. They use the flint and steel and lava bucket and minecart and sword, and you can upgrade your sword. It looked like. I don't know how the blocks work and how you select different blocks, but it looked like
that's true. They had an
enchantment
or a crafting table. So like, I wonder if it's like some of those other characters. Like, was it the Final Fantasy character where like you could like cycle through some different stuff?
Yeah, with a cloud you can charge up your meter, your burst meter.
And they do that with
your
a couple.
Meter, sorry.
I wonder if it'll be like that.
I'm assuming it could be like a multi-tiered thing, like the Animal Crossing Villagers tree, where you have to plant it, then grow it, then chop it down. But like every time you set down your crafting table, and then you just keep using the same button to upgrade it, do it as fast as you can or whenever you can. But yeah, I'm interested to see how he plays, just because it seems like he does so much, and I just from watching the video, I could not tell you what it would be as like side tilt or as down smash, or I mean, assuming the down smash is the lava bucket and this recovery is the elytra wings. That's the only 2 things I could like pinpoint as what would be what.
Yeah,
and then like his down aerial is the anvil.
I liked the clip of the Enderman just looking at the rain.
Yeah, I liked it when he Snake got in his box and was peeking through the hole in the box at Snake.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with Roger. So he was saying that he didn't even buy season one because all of the characters that he ever wanted were already in the game,
Hmm.
and I think that's a big problem with this game. Or maybe it's not even a problem, but
But
the
it's
whole
just a
ultimate
matter of fact
sale
about it.
was yeah, the whole point was everyone is here, and it's like holy cow, this roster is massive. There's so many people to play, and then even at season one, of course, infamously we got another Fire Emblem character and stuff,
Oh yeah,
and
at
everyone's
the
like, oh
very
my
end
god,
it
here
started
we
to kind of
go.
decline with like Terry
And
and Byleth.
I still
yeah,
like
so
Fire
like
Emblem
we
though.
were
I
getting
still like Violet.
Not
all
to say
those
that Byleth
characters.
is a bad character or Terry is a bad character, but they're not the most exciting additions.
Well, it's not even
And they're
that they're
cool that we have an
exciting,
SNK rep, and it's cool that we have
but
another Fire Emblem
so
representative.
I think that's the problem now is that we're just kind of like checking boxes anymore. It doesn't matter like if the characters are good or fun to play or anything. It's like, oh, we need our SNK rep, we need our Persona rep, we
But
need
the
our
thing
Master Chief
is, it's not so much that either, though.
Well, I
But
feel like it
they
is.
do go all out with them. It's not like they just like, oh, we'll throw
Well,
Terry
no, no,
Bogard
no.
in there, but they
No,
do
I know.
justice, and they are unique
I
characters on their own.
I meant more for the fans. Like I feel like
Yeah.
the fans want these characters just because they want the rep. We want
Well,
Doom
that's
Guy
what
in
the whole
there.
game's about. It's always been for the fans, like especially this
Well,
version, this one.
yeah,
I don't really agree with that. I mean, before it was like, yeah, it was for the fans, but it was definitely also like a fighting game where it was like
But
because that's
still
why
a fighting game through and through, and like.
well, that's why they take characters out and stuff before because they didn't care about the rep. They cared about
Well, there was
we're
kind
just
of
gonna
it's
make
kind
a
of
fighting
useless.
game.
Like they take Pichu out because Pichu was essentially a joke character. They take Young Link out because we have Toon Link now.
Well, yeah.
But they did optimize every character to be unique and have their own reason to play as them in Ultimate.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say every character because every character
I mean,
definitely
there
is
are
unique.
echoes, of course, where there's just minor differences, like with
Even
Lucina
with
and Marth.
but even you
Main difference is the sword. That's it.
play as Ike and Roy, they're basically the same characters. I mean, there's and you could go on
Roy's
and
got
on.
the fire.
It's like you said, Toon Link and Young Link.
Ike and
Like
Crom, though. Ike and Crom are like the same character. I
you
can tell you
start,
that. Roy's a little
you
different.
you get so many characters. Even with this whole like Minecraft Steve thing, it reminds me
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the what's it called, the Dragon Warriors guy, because they had different
Dragon
things.
Quest.
Or yeah, Dragon Quest, yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
one. And it's like I see what you're doing here, but at some point you get too many characters. And at another point, it's kind of like what he said. I like this quote right here because I never even thought about this. Sakurai says, "quote More often than not, these discussions start by Nintendo approaching me with an idea. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, if I can't do it just the idea justice, I'll tell them no." End quote. That tells me that even this isn't his decision. This is Nintendo being like, "Oh, this is more money, and we know if we get these things, it's going to bring us more money. So we're gonna kind of tell you to do it." And he's got to sit there and be like, "All right, how in the world do I make Minecraft work in here?" And
Well,
he finds a way, of course, because he's a genius. But it's like at
oh
this
yeah.
point, because we know he doesn't want to do this anymore. We know he doesn't want to do it.
He
I know.
doesn't want to, but I know, like in his mind, I'm sure he doesn't feel anyone else can do it, and he doesn't want
I don't
anyone
even
else to
know.
do
I don't
it.
even think it's that. I honestly think it's
that's like an
Nintendo
ego
telling
thing.
him. I think it's
Well, it
Nintendo
is his
telling him
child.
he has to do it. At
Yeah, but
some
that's still an
point,
ego
though,
thing.
like
Yeah. I mean, essentially, the base mechanics for Smash have been around since Kirby Superstar on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, but
Smash has always been like his
that's
baby.
what. But
I'm not.
even
I'm not saying
that's a
he
lot
doesn't
of
have reason to
that's a
feel that
lot
way.
of
It comes across a bit egotistic.
well, all
Because
that
it seems
is a
like
lot.
every Smash game, he's like, I'm done. Like even after Melee, he was like, I'm done, and then they
Well, that's
brought it
what I'm
back for
saying.
Brawl, and
Well,
then
like
they came back for
I believe
Smash
that
for
he
Wii with
is
3DS.
done. Well, I believe that
Yeah.
he is done, but it's
Yeah, this is gonna be the
so
last one, but
big.
I feel like
Hold on.
okay, this is the last one, but when's the
It's
DLC gonna end?
Hold on, Andrew. What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is that I believe that he is done every time, and I feel a lot of this stuff that Jake's saying
He
too
just
is a
changes
lot of
his mind.
projecting from the fans. I feel like a lot of like how he feels and stuff because he's never came out and said any of this. This is just what everyone says, like, oh, we think it's this or that, and we could be 100% right, we could be 100% wrong. We don't know. But how I see it is, he does say that he's done every time, and then I think that he does it again because Nintendo's like, dude, do it again because this thing Smash Brothers is a cash cow. And when you think of Nintendo, like let's sit here and be honest. You look at the top selling Nintendo games, they're all Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Like top-selling games on every single Nintendo platform are Nintendo games, and Smash Brothers is usually pretty up there. If you have the one guy who's like, I'm done, it's not a matter of if it's an ego thing or anything. It could just be that no one else can do it, and you don't want to make a knockoff off of it, because then you get PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale for Smash Brothers, and people are going to know right away, this doesn't feel right. This is not Smash Brothers. This is not
Smash
good.
Brothers without Sakurai is not Smash Brothers. That's just how it is at the end of the day.
And Nintendo knows that, and Sakurai knows that, and that's why I bet you Nintendo pays the man. I bet you they pay him
I can see this
honestly to come
being just the basis for every Smash Brothers, and they just keep expanding on it. They just keep adding characters.
I doubt it, because Nintendo's always behind everyone else. That makes sense. If this was a Xbox game, like make Smash Brothers into a platform, I'd be like, yeah, I buy that, because that's what they're doing with Halo and stuff. But Nintendo is very old school, even with like the season 2 passes and stuff. It's a very fighting game, but you know, there's going to be a Tekken
they've
7.
always been old school, but I think
7,
the reason they work is they always
I believe that there is
going
to be another Smash Brothers. I don't know if that's going to be now or later or whenever.
I mean, we get one every console. That's the rule, at least how it's always been.
But even then, like I think there will be a new Smash Brothers, and I think when they do it again, it's not going to be Ultimate. It's going to be a fresh start. Maybe. Yeah,
I mean, we'll never have this many characters in a Smash Brothers game again. I don't see that happening.
Think so.
Never say never.
It's true. Never say never. I mean, like, look at Street Fighter. Every time it starts small, and then by the end of it, it's Super Street Fighter Ultra.
But the thing is, with Street Fighter, though, they have the benefit of owning all those characters themselves.
I don't think we should rule out the fact that we can't have a Smash game without the guy. Like, yeah, it's his baby, but he can always hand it to somebody else.
I'm sure someone else could do it just fine.
It's kind of like Zelda. People said that about Zelda too, with Shigeru Miyamoto.
I mean, if you look at like a bunch of fan projects too, like Project M for Brawl, like they turned Brawl into a completely different game that objectively plays better than the original game.
Yeah, we also got.
There are people that can make a fun Smash game.
We also have to talk serious, because, like, let's be honest, Smash, Melee, and Brawl, all those games, as good as they were, as popular as they were back then, they're kind of broken messes. Like, people don't go back and play those games. So they play Melee.
People go back and play Melee, yeah.
Because it's broken. But that's why. It's not like Super Street Fighter 2 where people go back.
I see the first one as like a fun thing they check out every now and then.
It's not
Melee
good.
is the hardcore's Smash, and the hardcore fans base will always.
But that's only because it's fast.
Yeah.
But even then,
Ultimate is almost there.
But like, who plays the Wii U Smash anymore? I feel like Smash isn't. Yeah.
Well, Smash for Wii U was made obsolete with Smash Ultimate because it's the same game.
Everyone was.
It's not the same game though, because it feels different. Like, go back and play the Wii U version. It's like, oh, woof, this is not right. And it's because, like, that's my whole thing really.
I don't have the Wii U version anymore. So.
I only have the 3DS version.
This whole like someone else can't make a good Smash game. I don't really buy that, because every single time a Smash game comes out, the older ones are like, oh yeah, those aren't so good anymore. But that's not the same with Tekken and
it's just because they improve on it, and a lot of times with like Street Fighter, some of them get worse than others, and then they fix it with a different version of it.
But still, they improve on Street Fighter 2.
Like, if you played the original Street Fighter 2, it's slow as hell. Then you go to Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition Turbo.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Street Fighter 2 Turbo is great back then, but even today, that game is still great.
Yeah, that game still does really well today.
No one's going back to Brawl. Even
go back to Brawl for Subspace.
That's the only reason. Even then, Subspace isn't really that good. It's only good because it's all we got. It's all we got. But no one goes back to actually fight and like be competitive in it. You know, like, these games aren't really good fighting games. At the end of the day, they're only good because they are Nintendo. We like.
But the thing is, though, like, at the end of the day, shouldn't the sequel to Smash for this game essentially make the last one obsolete?
I don't think so. No, I think that's a bad.
I think it should try and improve. I don't know about if making it obsolete is the right way to.
Because every time they usually get better.
That's like saying Halo 3 should make Halo 2 obsolete.
Well, I don't think that's different.
I don't think making it better. I don't think improving making it better is equal to making it obsolete. I don't think those two equal each other.
That's like saying Halo 3's multiplayer should make Halo 2's multiplayer obsolete. That would be a similar thing right there. And I don't believe that, because you can still have amazing games and be like, oh yeah, this one's good too. But it's not really like that with Smash. Aside from Melee, whenever the new one comes out, people will go, oh, I'm still going to play the Wii U one though. No, because that one's not good anymore. And the only reason is that we like playing as these characters and we don't really care about the game mechanics, which I'll give it to them. Ultimate's game mechanics are good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Ultimate does feel the best out of probably all.
There is not another fighting game like Smash that's really hit the mainstream. We have stuff like Brawlhalla, and we have stuff like PlayStation All-Stars, but no one's really been able to capture what Smash does like Smash.
But I honestly
so that we don't really have anything else to reference it to other than other Smash games.
But I think my whole
with Street Fighter we can compare it to Tekken.
My whole thing though is
Mortal Kombat.
Smash is only Smash because of the characters, and that's why I'm saying anyone can make a new Smash game. It doesn't need to be Sakurai, because you replace all the Smash characters with, I don't know, 50 generic characters. Are you really going to be playing Smash? No, you don't, because it's like the game's not that great. It's still fun, but you don't have your mains, you don't have your representation, you don't have Link there.
It can always be improved. And I think it's had a problem with being static for a while now. So I'd be open to some change to it if they even make another one.
But that's kind of my whole thing, is like, I think that this is just Nintendo trying to.
But I mean, like, you can also say the same thing about stuff like Mortal Kombat. Like, would you enjoy Mortal Kombat if it was all new characters? You didn't have your Scorpion and your Sub-Zero or your Raiden.
But there are
we're not saying don't do new characters. I think we're just saying let somebody take over it and change it up how they want. And we might. We don't know.
Yeah, it's true. We don't know because it hasn't happened.
I'm sure a lot of people
being announced.
A what?
Probably because
I could honestly see a Fighter Pass 3 being announced as well.
They're probably making
for sure.
Mad money. Mad
money. They're gonna be milking it as long as they can.
Yeah, definitely, and that's why. It's just like what Roger said. I don't know. I bought Fighter Pass 2, but I buy everything because I try to be inclusive with everything. But even then, when I saw that announcement, I didn't even care if it was out today or whenever. I was like, I don't care. And I
still haven't beaten the Spirit mode yet. So I'll go on every now and then and play it for
gonna beat Spirit mode.
I'll play it for 30 minutes at a time for a week, and then I'll kind of okay, I'm done with that for a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Well, that only took 20 minutes. Good thing we.
Dude, you guys did a lot of back and forth for that too. It was pretty great.
Hey, you know what? Get into Smash. I got a lot, dude. I have a lot of controversial opinions. You can ask Jake about it.
I just like Smash.
A lot of people off on the internet.
I just feel like I speak truth, and then apparently everyone else disagrees.
I just like dropping people off the stage with Yoshi. That's all I like.
I know. If you remember ever playing with Habby, right? He plays as Ganondorf.
Yeah.
Pull him off the edge. Yeah. All right, let's move on to topic number 2, and that is, how big of a problem is crunch? And this is in reference to CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk. I'm over here on Bloomberg.com, sadly written by Jason Schreier, probably the most pathetic and thin-skinned journalist, if you could even call that, in the industry.
I don't know who that guy is.
Controversial opinions.
He's from Kotaku, and honestly, he's a really good journalist. But his problem is he is so thin-skinned. He's notorious for blocking anyone and anyone on Twitter for anything. He blocked me. He blocked me on Twitter.
Really?
He is so bad. He'll block someone with 100 subscribers. It doesn't matter. He is like a thin-skinned crybaby if you do not agree with him. It was something about unions. And I just remember, because I looked up, you can see
Twitter's pretty bad in general, though.
Yeah, true. But I just remember saying I don't know if I completely agree with you that the whole industry needs to be unionized. Block. Oh, there you go. So if you disagree with him, he's going to block you because he likes to be in his own little bubble. But he did break this story, so I guess I'll give him the credit for that. So here's the article. Polish video game developer CD Projekt Red told employees on Monday that 6-day work weeks will be mandatory leading up to the November release of the highly anticipated Cyberpunk 2077 Renegade? Reneging? I don't know what this word is.
Do you want to do speak to text to speech?
You know what? Saying that they broke their promise, basically, is what he's saying. He's trying to be a smart idiot. Red, a subsidiary of Poland's biggest gaming company, CD Projekt SA, has been criticized previously for engaging in, quote, crunch, end quote, an industry term for excessive overtime in game development. The practice often lasts for weeks and can stretch out for months or even years. CD Projekt Red co-chief executive officer Marcin Iwinski last year told gaming website Kotaku that the company would be avoiding mandatory crunch and was, quote, committed to allowing employees to work without overtime, end quote. So, guys, crunch is a big, big, big topic that a lot of journalists will not shut up about. It is in the gaming culture. It's been in game development forever. You've heard those stories of back on the take ET on Atari 2600. They made that game in 6 months. They were working nonstop on it. That was crunch.
It was 6 weeks.
Yeah, like, you know, crunch has always happened forever. Is crunch good? That's a debate right there. I do want to
add. There's a lot to go in there.
I want to add real quick before we do get into the discussion. What he obviously fails to mention, because Jason Schreier is also very biased.
Oh, the shame! Let's hear it.
And he's very anti-crunch and, you know, for the people and bullshit like that. If you read on other websites, you'll know that they are compensating them very well. They're compensating their employees very, very well. It's just that they need that extra day of work to actually get the game out on time. It's not like they're being like, oh, we're going to pay you the same wage or whatever. They're giving them bonuses. They're giving them extra pay. They're giving them compensation for their work.
But is it mandatory? That's my question.
Yes. Yeah, it says mandatory.
Okay, all right. So it is actually mandatory.
Yes.
Well, at least this is my take on crunch. I think crunch is good at getting a game out. It's not all. History has shown it's never really great at getting a good game out.
That's not true.
I don't agree with that.
That's not true. There's been some really good games that had super big crunch.
I think every game, more or less, has had crunch. Like, literally every game. And, like, this is everywhere. Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, Bethesda, EA, Activision. Like, every single gaming company, Ubisoft, they've all had crunch. So,
I do think it's a really bad practice that needs to be weeded out of that industry, though. Yeah. I think it needs to be done with. I think the negative
because a lot of times you end up with, like, because when you set a deadline for something like a video game, I mean, of course you have to get your game out at some point. Sometimes you have tie-ins. Sometimes you have contracts that make sure you have to get it out by this.
Well, with this game too, this game's been delayed already quite a few times.
And with games in this situation, especially ones that have been it was announced in like 2014 was it was announced?
I think so. I think 2014 was
Cyberpunk was announced in like 2012.
2012. Okay.
Like, it's been forever.
It's been a while. So, I mean, with the games that have been, you know, in the works for as long as this one has, it's kind of inevitable. You'll get to a point where a company's like, we just got to get this game out. You got to finish it, do what you have to do in this time, but we're putting it out now.
Yeah. The problem is this time is really hard to, like, fault like developers or whoever for stuff because of the coronavirus, you know? I mean, it sets everything back. So, I mean, it's hard to put that strain on them.
Honestly,
CD Projekt Red, I think they're the first ones to be like, we're working at home. We have our whole setup. So I don't think they're going to the office. Maybe things changed because it's been months. But, like, I know that they had put up procedures and stuff. They're not putting their workers in danger for this crunch is what I'm trying to say. I know that for sure. So
I just think that, like, you know, a crunch will lead to a lot of things not making it into the game that may or may not have been a good thing. Ideas being scrapped.
And some of that stuff can be positive or negative. I think the negatives it has on the real life people, even if they're willing to do it, I think it needs to not be normal. Essentially,
it leaves a bad taste in their mouth. Like, I mean, look at Bungie. Like, just the way they were, like, crunched into making all those Halo games, it left them with a bad taste for the series.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I'm sure they have nothing but
bad taste in relationships or not. I think more importantly is that so I guess I'll in the defense of crunch is bad because I'm very on two sides of this, but crunch is bad because, I mean, working 6 days a week is not good for your health.
No, it's not good for your health, and it's definitely not good for the creative
Yeah,
process either.
that's why I'm
I
kind of like
think at
universal
this
about
point,
it. Is I think it's
I think at this
just like
point
as a
they're
working condition, it's just unacceptable.
Yeah, I think at this point they're just doing like bug fixes and make sure the game works because the game I
Mhm.
know is content complete months ago. So whatever creative stuff they're doing now, it's not really being affected by this crunch.
Mhm.
But definitely when you work that much and that long, those are people not seeing their families. Those are people that are having late nights. Those are people that aren't eating right anymore because they're working so much. Like there's a lot of negative things that can come from this. And even if the game is great, you still had to go through that stuff. Now, granted, in the defense of CD Projekt Red, they are starting this now, and it's only about a month and some change until the game comes out. So they're going to be working these 6 day weeks only for like 4 to 5 weeks, which I think is a positive because a lot of companies will have crunch for months, like
Mhm.
talking three,
Yeah.
4,
Yeah.
6 months.
I mean,
Like
it
they do
gets
crunch
it
hard.
gets so bad where they're literally abusing the employees, and that's where like I feel like it's like because these CD Projekt Red it's a pretty good company, right? Like they do a lot of
I
consumer
believe
friendly
so.
decisions. They
Oh,
try
definitely,
and
yeah.
treat the people right, and I think they're trying to do right by doing this, right? With how they pay their employees. I'm sure the employees are probably more than willing. I'm sure they're just excited. The
Yep.
problem is with that philosophy in the game industry is it normalizes it so other companies it's easy for people to get taken advantage of. I don't know what like the union situation is in that industry, but it's just so easy with that being a normalized thing to be taken advantage of. And I mean, I personally think it just shouldn't be accepted across the board, no matter what the excuse, it just has to be universally weeded out. So that we can create the better work conditions for people that make the games that we like so much.
I
I
definitely
don't
agree
think
with
CD
you.
Project Red is the issue, and I'm sure they're handling this pretty in good taste.
Definitely,
Um,
definitely.
but I just think that it has to be, it has to go away.
That's
Yeah.
that's my whole problem with this article and Jason Schreier in particular is that everything you said right there is on the nose. I think the problem with crunch is that it can be abused because I don't remember exactly. Oh, you know what? I think it was Telltale. Before they went belly up and then changed into whatever they are now.
Oh
They
yeah,
had
yeah.
they had massive crunch because they were just
It
pumping those games out back and
well,
forth,
and
and it got
apparently
so
how
bad.
they operated was just awful.
Oh yeah, the whole place was poorly operated anyways. But like it got so bad that people were like bringing sleeping bags and sleeping under their desks and stuff because they had to work these massive 18-hour work days and stuff like that. Like that was awful. Now I don't think CD Projekt Red is doing anything like this. From what I garner is that they're just adding another day of work. Like, hey, you got to come in on Saturday. They're
Yeah,
not
and
like
even
And
extending the
and
in my
actual
opinions, we're
workday.
not necessarily expressly on this story in particular, but mostly just on crunch in general,
Oh well, yeah,
and the
yeah.
way it's been
That's
practiced
what
in the
I'm getting
yeah,
past.
to.
really the story is just used as a catalyst.
Hmm.
And the other thing is
Of
like we
course.
don't really know where they get the information from, or because if it could be something where it's like, okay, we gotta get this game out. Is everybody willing to work Saturdays? We'll pay you overtime. We all gotta crunch it
Mhm.
out, and everybody agrees. And maybe that's not what happened. Maybe they're like, look, maybe it is an actual crunch. And either way, it's just as a system. I mean, we just don't know all the information really. We're just not there. But it
Yeah.
does it's gotta go away. That's just how I
Hmm.
feel about it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I just think that the way that they're trying to do it, because the other big crunch story this year was from The Last of Us Part Two. They're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
Naughty
that was really
Dog's
bad
work
for that
culture
too.
is
Hmm.
Caused them
awful
a
and stuff,"
huge
and
controversy
then
because of it.
it turned out that either it was a disgruntled employee or something, but everyone else, and that's the hard thing about this because you could have an office of 200 people and 199 of them are like, this is fine. I love this. I'm doing what I love. It's great. Sure, it's hard work, but look what we're making. It's amazing and stuff like that. And then you have that one disgruntled asshole that just works on the grass the whole time and he's pissed off. So he goes over to Kotaku or Bloomberg or whatever, like, hey Jason, I have a story for you. And then they try to blow it up and make it out to be the company is awful and that they're abusing the
Yeah,
employees and stuff.
I really hated, like, I really did not agree with that decision. People were praising him for The Last of Us 2, and I could not agree with him because he took it publicly, didn't handle it in courts. It was an actual
Uh,
legal issue. Take it to the court. It's what it's there for. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's
exactly.
what it's there for. Instead, he
That
ruined the
was
hard
someone
work of
just trying to,
all the other employees, and that's where I
yeah.
just could not agree with that.
That was just
Well,
someone
and
trying to tarnish the name. Like
and that's the
they
thing
were
too.
just trying to get back.
with like going back to Halo, with Halo 2, like Microsoft was like, we have to get the game out by this date, and it wasn't that like they were forced to do crunch. They were passionate about that title, and they were like, we could release this game as it is now, and finish it and put it out, but it's not going to be a quality title. Like, we don't like where this is going. So they made that whole game in like less than a year. I think it was like 9 months.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know, but they did that because they wanted to give a quality product to people who were invested in that franchise.
Which,
like
to be fair to them,
too.
Yeah, Toy Story 2. To be fair to them, though,
it was like, oh my god,
they could have made that same Halo 2 in 2 years and not have been under so much stress, but Microsoft gave them that hard deadline, which I'm pretty sure gaming, crunch used to be so much worse back then.
Oh yeah, I mean, like you would look at the credits on like games now compared to the credits of how many people worked on games like 20 years ago.
Not only that.
Well, okay, but going back to the Halo 2, there is two sides to that story, right? Because I can see from the company's perspective, hey, I just invested a ton of money into you for a year, and all of a sudden you want to scrap your whole project because you don't like it. I mean, you know, I'd be kind of pissed as the company executive. Be like, you got to figure out how to get something out. So there's always the two sides to that story.
Definitely.
But I'll also agree, years ago was probably a lot worse.
Yeah, I was going to bring up like whole like they can patch it in now and things like that, but
yeah,
you know,
I mean, they can look at Ubisoft. They release all these like broken games. Like Assassin's Creed always comes out broken, and they fix it.
Dude, that's another topic in general because that's becoming a normalized thing too. That's really frustrating.
We'll talk about like year franchises, annualized franchises, something later, but that's a whole nother can of worms and a whole it used to be a lot worse. They've kind of got a system for it now, but yeah, we'll talk about that later. Anyways, I think CD Projekt Red really isn't doing anything wrong here. They're a great company, and I don't see any bad malice with them. I think this is just some journalists trying to push an agenda, which is nothing new in any journalism. But do you guys have anything else to say about this? Or are you good to move on?
I'm good to move on.
I think I've said my piece.
All right, sounds good. On to number 3. It seems like the PS5's expandable storage is just as expensive as the Xbox Series X is. Over on PushSquare.com,
not so high and mighty now.
PS5 compatible SSD written by Sammy Barker. Samsung has announced its new uber-fast SSD hard drive, and it could be the first that Sony whitelists for use in PlayStation 5. As expected, it's not cheap. 250 gigabytes will cost you $89.99, 500 gigabytes will retail for $149.99, and 1 terabyte will set you back $229.99 US dollars. Compared to the $219.99 cost of the Xbox Series X's expandable storage, this is agreeable considering it's significantly faster. Furthermore, the hope is that it's because it's not a proprietary format, the cost will come down quicker. There's some bias in there, of course. They're like, it's not that bad because it's faster because it's PushSquare.
And the thing is, too, with solid state just in general, that is a very expensive format. Right now.
So yeah, we have
the prices. Surprising.
We have the prices of our first. As we know, this is not proprietary, so anyone could make this. But from Samsung, we have the cost. 250 gigs is $90, 500 gigs is $150, and 1 terabyte is $230. Okay. What do you guys think about this? Is PlayStation screwed? Is this a whole Vita cartridge scenario all over again, or does it really not matter?
Well, no. With the Vita, that was all proprietary. So, at least with this, we do have more than one company making it. And this is just Samsung's offerings that have come up. I'm sure there will be other companies like Seagate and Western Digital that will have their also. But as far as price points go, it's nice that we have options. So far with Xbox, it seems like that 1 terabyte one is the only one that they're offering.
I was going to say that too. If I only want 500 gigs more, I could just spend $150. Or if I just want 250, $90. But with Xbox, it's the terabyte. That's it. That's the only offering you get. So... Roger, you're our local Xbox guy. What do you think? Were we, or not even?
To be honest,
was everyone
a little too hard on Microsoft?
Were people too hard on Microsoft with that price when it came out, or is everyone just secretly a big dick to Microsoft?
I mean, I think everybody's a bit of a dick to Microsoft. I think we ought to be. I think they've been doing a lot of consumer friendly decisions lately. I think because we have been addicted to them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's potato. I think it's really neither here nor there. I don't think it's going to affect really anything.
I agree.
I understand what you guys are saying with the options part, but I just don't think it's going to make a big enough decision to really hurt or help them in any way.
I agree.
I
agree.
I do
'Cause this
think
is
that
all-
I
this
don't
is
know
all
how I don't know how this works with the PlayStation or if it'll be as optimal as Xbox's though, but I do like that Xbox does have that native integration to where it won't it'll basically act as if it is part of the internal system.
I mean, you would hope so, but like,
At least
let's
that's
be
what they
honest.
promise us. It can also change it.
PlayStation is a mess when it comes to just about anything that's not called a video game. Dude, I remember
yeah,
getting a
that's
PS4.
true.
I remember getting a PS4 and plugging my Vita in, and it said unknown device. Their own handheld, it said unknown device. So who knows?
That should have been a sign of things to come for you.
I remember trying to transfer my saves, and it just corrupted all of them, including the saves on my Skyrim game.
Which is they have made improvements like with the PlayStation Plus with the saves and everything,
cloud saves and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So and eventually it did recognize it was a Vita later. It was just like it was so funny right when it launched. It was like, oh, you don't even know what a Vita is. Fantastic. So yeah, I mean honestly, I agree with Roger. I think everyone's just kind of addicted to Xbox, and that's because they're below. But honestly, over the last 2 weeks, I've really been thinking about it, and I'm kind of getting excited about it. I think Microsoft is back, and I think Xbox is back. Like I think we're going to see. I don't think we're going to see.
They have the potential to be.
I don't think we're going to see PlayStation in its lows like PS3, but I do think we're going to see Xbox in its highs as 360, if that makes sense. I think both can live in unison together and both be massively popular together.
Yeah, I mean, but it just has to have
platform stuff.
And that's the big thing.
Yeah,
I don't think it needs the exclusives though. I think if they stick to their Game Pass, even if they don't have exclusives, I think it'll be okay.
But if they stick with Game Pass, then what's even the point of having your own proprietary console?
That's the
point.
I mean, where else you
that Game Pass? The Game Pass is the point. That's what the Xbox can offer you. Is you have all those offers. I think
you also have that on PC as well. Game Pass is also available on PC.
Yeah, but
no, you don't.
But Jacob, the PC can. It's
not the same game
almost
either.
Yeah. And the PC, PC and consoles almost don't compete. Like they kind of do, but not a lot.
Not really. Yeah, that whole argument of like, oh, I don't need to buy an Xbox, I have a PC. Those are so like, just think about all the people on Earth that have gaming computers. Of course, we know a lot of them because that's our, social circle. Is that we're all kind of like big old nerds with PCs that can run games and stuff. But think back to high school. Everyone that had a gaming PC, there's not many. So they're still going to go out and they're going to still buy consoles.
Just the capabilities of these systems for the price point they're at are very enticing.
Exactly, yeah. And I think, I mean, honestly, and I love PlayStation. That's obvious. I have 4 PS4s. I have how many Vitas?
Damn.
Like, I love PlayStation. But I'm going to be honest. When I look at the launch lineup and I look at what's going on, I'm kind of honestly a little more excited to get my Series X than I am the PS5 because I know when I get the Series X, I'm going to plug it in and I'm going to have hundreds of games on Game Pass ready and upgraded. Like, it's going to be nice. They're going to be ready, fast, optimized for it. Like, it's tough to beat that, man.
Yeah,
on the other side of the coin, I don't really care about Game Pass.
And that's fine.
So there's really nothing for the Xbox for me personally.
Yeah,
and that's where I think like cross platforms. But what I'm saying is I don't think their strong suit is exclusives. I think PlayStation's got that in back. I think their Game Pass is probably definitely their strong suit, and that's what attracts just a lot of normal or casual people.
Are you calling me normal?
Yeah, I almost did. Yeah.
You're anything but normal. Let's be honest about that.
No, I just, at least with Game Pass, I don't ever play enough to warrant spending a month by month fee on games.
Honestly, though, even with the exclusives, you got to remember, think back to that Microsoft event that happened just before the PlayStation one, where they showed Fable, and I know Fable's long off, but they showed Fable. They have that new Forza game coming out. There's definitely
Still
going
ready
to
for Fable.
Halo Infinite is going to come out, and I think it's going to be good. They're delaying it for a good reason.
Mhm.
So
I
think
hope
give
so.
that game a year. It's
I
going to
hope
look
so
good.
so badly.
Like it
They
better
had
be good.
they had that Stalker game that's exclusive to Xbox coming out. There's some other games. Remember that one where it's like the two worlds and it's like the girl in the underworld and then it's like, or you know what I'm talking about? Like it was running the world at the same time and it's going back and forth. That game looked awesome. That's an Xbox exclusive. And then dude, they have Bethesda now. Like
yeah.
we haven't seen it yet. And they have the Obsidian game that looks
and
like
that's something
Skyrim
we've yet to see what they're going to do with Bethesda, if they're going to treat it like Mojang and still keep it
But
multi-platform.
Even if they made
it'll be
Skyrim and Star Citizen multi-platform, because those are the big ones. I mean, Elder Scrolls, not Skyrim, but you know.
I mean, the thing is, it would be, you know, what they should do is they should make Elder Scrolls exclusive and Doom exclusive, and then that would be like, oh wow,
so
I want an Xbox.
I think they will make Doom exclusive, but there's an argument that's been going around that I kind of really agree with, is that if Microsoft, the best move for Microsoft is to put these games on both. You put it on PlayStation.
Well, yeah, you're definitely going to make more money that way, but you're going to make your box more appealing.
No, not for that. Because what you do is you do it that way, and you're like, sure, go buy Elder Scrolls 6 for $70 over there, or $10 on Game Pass. That's what they're going to do. It's like
I think that's the way to go too. Yeah, I think that's the better decision. I'm kind of with Andrew on that one.
Or you could get 7 months of Game Pass.
That's where I think that's the plan. I think that's what they're going for, especially in the long run, and it's going to keep building up and building up. And I kind of think it's a smarter decision, to be honest.
And that way,
I think they shouldn't fight with exclusives.
Yeah, me neither. Like, and that way they win too, because they get money from all those PlayStation sales. Plus, they have a lot more people subscribing to Game Pass. Plus, whoever buys it on an Xbox too, because there are some people that.
I mean, when are we going to see Game Pass on PlayStation?
I say that, man. I said, but
honestly, I could see it showing up on Nintendo because Microsoft and them are all buddy.
I don't think so. Nintendo needs to make a real console before they do that. It can't run. Even streaming, it can't run Game Pass.
No, I love the Switch, but yeah.
Yeah. Last week, I think I even said, like, when is Game Pass coming to PlayStation? But I don't know. There's just been this feeling in the air. It's like there's something about Xbox and their new consoles that there's something in the air. I think it's going to do really good. And I think when Xbox gets back on top, even if they don't, even if they're just competing, I
still think PlayStation's going to come out on top this generation.
Well, probably PlayStation's always come out on top. Yeah. Always.
I don't think we're going to see them get dethroned this generation.
But I think you're going to see Xbox competitive. Mm-hmm. Like, I bet you...
Think they're going to sell more than Xbox One?
Well, definitely. But I'm saying more than 360. Like, if Xbox plays its cards right, I think they could easily break 90 million. I honestly believe that.
I'm just so happy cross-platform is becoming a thing, honestly. That it's not as important.
Like, you know, it doesn't matter what your friends play anymore. It's literally now who has the better hardware and who has the better exclusives. So, yeah. Yep. So that's it about hard drives.
I was just thinking, what was our original point?
Yep, it's about hard drives. Sticking with PlayStation though for a minute. Number 4, it also seems like saves won't cross over from PS4 to PS5. So we're talking about all this good that Xbox is doing. We're also talking about some flunders. This is over from GamePer.com. Never heard of that, but written by Paolo Cirio. I hope I said his name right. This is about Yakuza, by the way, because it was kind of the big game that broke this. Quote, PlayStation 5 users who want to play PS4 games offering next-gen upgrades might not be able to transfer save data from all of those titles.
Wait a minute. So is it specifically the titles that are going to be cross-generational, or just all your save data?
I'll get to that. Okay. RGG Studios has in fact shared on Twitter that Yakuza Like a Dragon won't allow PlayStation 4 players to continue their story on next-gen systems. Apparently, cloud saves won't be available for all the cross-gen titles, even though a new Yakuza supports a free upgrade program from PS4 to PS5. This should not be the rule, as Spider-Man Miles Morales will support cross saves between the two generations. Yakuza Like a Dragon will be a next-gen Xbox Series X exclusive when it releases in November 10th. The game will launch on PS5 on March 2nd, 2021, according to the details revealed by Rugagotoku Studios, RGG, guys that make Yakuza. Players who will start their story on PS4 on November 10th won't be allowed to keep playing it on March 2nd on PlayStation 5. So that kind of answered your question, Jake. Some games are allowing cross saves, kind of like Miles Morales, but
So
other
I mean,
games,
like, what I'm asking is like, so when are they saying like, if you are playing the PS4 version right now, your
Mhm.
save for the PS4 version will not carry on if you put the PS4 version on your PS5, or
Yeah.
is it that if you pick up the PS5 version of the game, your save will not be there if you want to play that version of it?
I I I don't know.
Because that's
From
a
what
big difference. If
what I
no
know,
PS4 saves go over,
from
that's
what I
one
know
thing.
is that this game, I think
I
when you
mean,
put it into the PS5, it gives you that upgrade and you have to
Hmm.
play the upgraded version. So I
Okay.
think this game is a specific case. I don't know. I know what you're saying there. You're saying like if I'm playing FIFA 19 on PS4 and it's backwards compatible and I move to PS5, will that save
I
data
would I
Yeah.
would
So
imagine
let's.
I imagine that say would stay because cause saves are almost network based nowadays,
Yeah.
aren't they? So
Yeah,
I
Because when
imagine
you first
that would
approached
stay
me with
the
that
same.
detail,
I'm assuming it's the upgrade that won't
because
transfer over.
I'm
that
assuming
makes
that.
sense to me. If you're going between different, like, because like even in past games, like if you had Call of Duty Ghosts for Xbox 360, your save doesn't carry over to the Xbox One version. That
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
makes sense.
Also, some games
Um,
it's kind of like I'll just replay, like Spider-Man. Like I feel like you don't
yeah,
need that save to carry
Yeah.
over. It's like
that's
fine, just
another game.
replay.
Like the remastered version of Spider-Man's not going to have your save from the first Spider-Man. That's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
which because it's a different game essentially.
hmm I mean, yeah,
Um,
and I mean, I would say too that Yakuza 5 on PS5 or not Yakuza 5,
PS3.
Yakuza Like a
Oh.
Dragon 7, I guess, whatever you want to call it,
Oh
on
yeah, we could
PS5.
even look at that. Like your saves for the Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 on PS3 are not going to come over to the remastered versions on PS4.
Oh well, yeah, exactly. And I think that's the whole thing is that a lot of this is kind of getting mixed up because they are all backwards compatible. Because that was a little different. PS3
Hmm.
games didn't run on PS4; those were
Yeah.
remasters. But these games do run on PS5, and I think that's where it gets confusing because like we don't know when you put that PS4 disc in. Is it the PS5 version? I think it is, but
Hmm.
not always. And it's just confusing what save data
It is
comes
kind
Hmm.
of
through and what
confusing.
games come and really, I think it's just going to be
And that seems like it's more of a Sega thing than anything.
well, yeah. Of course, everyone's going to blame Sony, of course,
Hmm.
but I agree. I
Because the
think
way Xbox works is a little different than how Sony's doing the cross-generational games and
kind
upgrades.
of. I think it's more of the same, honestly. I
Because
think that
the what it is on PlayStation, you get a update
yeah,
that downloads the PS5 version to your console,
yeah.
whereas on the Xbox disc, it's the same game. It just knows whether you're playing it on a one or on
Are you
a
sure?
X. Yes, that's
That
how what
doesn't
they're like.
that
That
doesn't
big.
sound right.
So like
How
when you
does?
buy Halo Infinite,
Well,
it
I'm
knows
talking
you're playing it on an Xbox One, so it'll
well,
play it like it should be, like it, how it will run optimally on an Xbox One.
I'm talking
Whereas,
about
So
older
are you
games
saying they
though.
use the same disc for the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X?
but that's the thing with Yakuza, the Xbox Series X version of the game is on the Xbox One disc,
Well, yeah, no, I know.
whereas
I think this
the
is different though
whereas on
because
PlayStation, you get the PS4 version, and then they will, when you put it into a PS5, it downloads the
I
PS5 stuff.
I
I'm sure
think that's
Xbox has to do a version of that too because Xbox can't fit all that stuff onto the just a single
exactly.
disc.
And I'm thinking of games like Sea of Thieves. There's no way there's a
Well,
Series
no,
X version on the
no.
disc.
Think of it like this: with these games that are coming out now that have the Series X sticker on it,
Well,
it's like when you run a game on a lower end PC versus a higher end PC.
I think you're
So
thinking
the
backwards.
what?
I think you're looking at it backwards. You're looking at as Xbox Series X games coming out that can also run on Xbox One. Yeah, I get that, and they know like if you're playing on Series X or Xbox One. We're talking about PS4 games that know that are playing on PS5.
Yeah,
I think
but
that's
that's
a
what I was saying. Like how that's why Yakuza Like a Dragon. I don't think they're releasing another version of it for the Series X. That's already going to be a part of that Xbox One,
Phew.
Xbox Series X
bless you.
system.
Yeah, but
Thank you.
I think that's also just because Microsoft is doing that whole thing where they're like no exclusives for the first year and a half or
Hmm.
whatever because they want to go back and forth.
But that was my point. That I think that's
Yeah,
why your save on Xbox would carry over on Yakuza Like a Dragon, because it's essentially the same game, whereas the PS5 one is technically a different game in the eyes of the system.
Okay, yeah, I get that. Yeah, definitely, I agree with that. Roger, you good?
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
Yeah,
2 thumbs up. For sure.
Because when you first approached me with that article, I thought you said that like nothing was coming over. So like any of the games I played and saved on PS4, I'd have to start from scratch on PS5.
I mean, that's what the title kind of makes it sound like, but when he started reading it, it made more sense.
I think the problem is no one knows, and not Microsoft, Sony is just not talking. It goes back to what I was saying.
I mean, that's part of their problem, though, right? Like they don't communicate super well.
Yeah,
everyone's been super secretive this generation. Like details are just kind of being like drip fed to us.
I don't agree with that. I feel like Xbox hasn't shut up for like a year.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I know what I need to know about Xbox. I mean, maybe it's because I look more into Xbox and I'm going to get it, but
Xbox has shown the UI, they've shown off the games, they've shown the console, they've shown the console a year ago. They've shown everything. PlayStation, I feel like PlayStation hasn't shown anything. We're just learning that some launch games are having special editions come out like yesterday. Like they're still like they're drip feeding us. Microsoft was like, here's the cards, here's what's going on. By the way, we're buying Bethesda. But other than that, we know everything that's going on with Xbox. We know how the like optimized for Series X is going to work and things like that. We know how cross-gen is going to work. We know how the saves are going to work and everything like that. We know how backwards compatibility is going to work. We know what games will and won't run. Over on Sony, we get 99% of PS4 games work. Okay, what are the 1%? How do saves work?
The 1% is going to be the Senran Kagura games.
Yeah.
What is the release dates for the consoles again?
They're 10th and the 12th of November.
Yeah.
So they're like
right there. They're together.
So Xbox on the 10th and PlayStation on the 12th.
I didn't realize they were coming out so close to one another.
Oh yeah,
2 days. They're right there. So
I honestly think we also had issues with pre-orders because Sony wanted to get it as close to the release date of Microsoft's release date.
Probably. I think Sony's gonna win day one though, just because of all the confusion of the name of the console.
I mean, we already saw on Amazon, they had like a 76 increase in sales for the Xbox One X's when the pre-orders went live for the
percent or something. Yeah, I mean the names are stupid. Let's just get that clear right now. Series X and Series S, stupid.
Yeah, that's really stupid. Xbox One X, Xbox One S, Xbox Series. Yeah, that's really dumb.
Like at this point, they should just name it after the year they come out, like a car.
Just stick to their project names.
That you could be a little creative. Nintendo doesn't. Like, just
Nintendo's always like had a special little name for their consoles. Where
so is Xbox.
Kinda. Xbox just throws random numbers in there. It's like, all right, this works.
Yeah, 361, and now we have Series. I don't know. Yeah. They're naming.
They're figuring it out. Nintendo had how many years to figure out their name? I mean, they went from Nintendo Entertainment System to Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not that much better, but you know.
It is. It's better than what Xbox is doing, though.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I don't think Microsoft has ever really figured out how the video game industry works. I think they just are like, just kind of winging it. Like we know how to make hardware for X gaming.
I mean, they had a good reason for the Xbox 360 with the colors and stuff, and I mean, I understood the Xbox One reason. I didn't buy it, but I understood.
Yeah, like because it had it was the all-in-one. That's what it was going.
Yeah,
for.
It was a gimmick.
It wanted to be a streaming box. It wanted to be everything but a dedicated gaming system.
I don't even understand this naming system, like on any level.
Because I think what they're trying to go now is push the Xbox brand as a family of devices, whereas the original Xbox to now are all considered Xbox.
I think that
editions.
Not only do I not think that makes any sense, I think that's still a lot of conjecture on our part. Like, just, you know what I mean?
I mean, I agree with that. I think that's what it is too. Is that because they've said so many times, like this is Xbox. We are a family. Games that come out on Series X are coming out on the One.
We'll explain why they're so buddy with Nintendo, I guess.
Halo Infinite's coming out for the original Xbox.
Is Halo Infinite going to be rated M or T for teen, by the way?
It hasn't been rated. I'm assuming it's going to be teen just because of the ESRB's rating system being a little bit looser.
I agree.
All the Destiny games are rated T for teen. As soon as a Destiny went T for teen, I knew Halo was going to change.
Yeah.
As far as the Master Chief Collection that came out after Destiny, ESRB doesn't re-rate games, and since that was mostly pretty much just a port of of the original games, they just left it as an M rating for everything. Whereas now they probably would rate all of those games as rated T.
No, they re-rate games. Whenever you release a game on any other platform, they have to recertify it and re-rate it. It might be the exact same rating, but like even if it's just a port or whatever.
So is Master Chief Collection rated M for mature?
Yes, it's rated M.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I could kind of see it with maybe like Halo 1.
No, Halo 1's not bad on any level.
I know there's some cursing more in others.
But all they say is like, ass and bitch, like that's about it.
But I think the big thing with Halo versus like Call of Duty is you're fighting these fictional aliens with brightly colored blood and these extravagant weapons versus I'm going to Russia and shooting a man in the head with a pistol.
And there's
blowing him up.
Too. Call of Duty and all of them, they use, they throw the F-bomb around 24/7. I mean,
you can look at World of War. You throw a grenade and the limbs go flying everywhere. That's
for sure.
For the online lobby chat alone, it's rated M.
Yeah, that's true.
Interactions are not rated by the ESRB.
But if they were,
they know.
I honestly feel like if we're gonna be on this topic for a second, the way movies are treated, they don't go back. If you get a Blu-ray release of Casablanca, they're not going to rate it because the Movie Picture Association was not around back then, so it didn't have a rating. I think games should be the same way. You've released the NES version of Ninja Gaiden on the eShop, it's going to get a rating.
Yep.
But it really shouldn't because it didn't have one.
Well, it didn't have one, but times have changed, things have changed, and just because it didn't doesn't mean it should have. I think
a lot of those older games don't really need a raise rating. I don't think because a lot of it's very ambiguous as to what's even happening.
It's enough.
But
to
Ninja Gaiden,
when you look at Ninja Gaiden on the NES, you're slicing a man in half with your sword.
Yeah,
but it's a little tiny pixel man with no blood versus Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox where it's full 3D.
But still,
and you're
you understand the representation of what it's for. I mean, because it's like Casablanca. I mean, that was a lot of implying and stuff, right? Like, did that show like anything? Like, I feel like that's okay.
No, and another thing too is like with Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters was rated PG because PG-13 didn't exist. That should easily be a PG-13 movie.
Oh yeah, it should. And PG was
same with the original Star Wars movies too. All of the Star Wars movies up until Revenge of the Sith were rated PG because the PG-13 wasn't a thing.
Yeah, but I think the difference between PG and PG-13, I mean, you're talking about difference in ratings, whereas having a rating versus not having a rating. You know, I think it's just, I don't know, there's a little bit of a difference there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with all that. Again, our tangents, man, we're just
somebody mentioned Star Wars. Is that what we're talking about for the next 3 hours?
This is the Star Wars podcast.
We go from PS4 saves not going to PS5 to Xbox to Star Wars, but
yes,
that's just,
dude,
that's just
it always comes back to Star Wars. I don't think we've ever had a conversation. We didn't end up with Star Wars at some point.
After this next story, we are going to talk a little bit about Star Wars. But we got to go get to number 5 first. And for our last topic of the day, number 5, Xbox Series X's are officially in the wild. I do have a news story popped up that mentions this, so I guess I'll go ahead and read it.
Was that?
It's from VentureBeat.com. Oh my goodness, it's so zoomed in. Who's this written by?
It was supposed to be the wild Pokemon encounter music.
I see his face, but is it Jeff Grubb? It might be Jeff Grubb. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. Xbox Series X controller impressions, because it mentions it, by Jeff Grubb. Quote, along with the Xbox Series X, Microsoft sent GamesBeat the new Xbox controller. This gamepad comes with next-gen hardware, but you can, of course, also purchase it separately for $60. And you're probably thinking that the controller looks a lot like the last one, and you're right. Xbox designers kept the same general look, but that doesn't mean it kept the same feel. Microsoft made a number of subtle changes that all result in making this the best Xbox controller except for the Elite, blah, 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 talking a lot about that. But more importantly, it does say that Xbox Series X's are in the wild. Influencers all over Twitter were posting, oh my gosh, look what I got. It's random. They did not know this was coming. It just showed up in their mail. The Series X was right there, which I think is pretty cool, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So we're about, as Jake said earlier, these release on the 8th and the 10th, correct?
10th and the 12th.
The 10th and the 12th. Series X on the 10th. That's a month and 9 days away. It's pretty early to be getting a console. Pretty early to be getting this console this early. What do you guys think about this? Do you think that pretty bullish of Microsoft sending their console out so early to influencers? Like, it must be good if they're doing this. They must have confidence in it.
I mean, I'm assuming the console's gone gold. I mean, for a month out, they're just really just bulking up their production to get it out. And this is, this is standard fare, I think, to just send out your big device to hype it up with influencers that have a following base.
Maybe. I don't know. I've never heard
with
of...
Sony, we haven't seen a real PS5.
I don't remember.
Not once.
Well, actually, this is the first time that we've seen the Series X in hand with people actually there. So to be fair, this is the first time we're really seeing the Series X as well. But I don't remember.
We've seen physical consoles, like Phil Spencer has shown us the physical console, and they sent out shells to gaming news sources as well, so we can get an idea of what it would look like. For size comparisons.
Thinking back to 2013 when the PS4 and the Xbox One launched, maybe this did happen, but I do not recall anyone getting
I think it's also just a change in the times as well. I don't
think
influencers were as big of a deal in 2013 as they are now.
No, it's a bigger deal now. They do a lot of stuff send it to streamers and stuff. I don't know if I really like that.
Back when
video, that kind of annoys me.
The last generation was big to go on talk shows like Conan and show off the Wii U or your PlayStation or Xbox, and that was a lot of
Conan had
talk shows.
Conan had his own he had his own little video game segment. It was crazy.
I remember that. Yeah, I do. He played Breath of the Wild, I think. Or
that's
something.
Where PewDiePie and him had that awesome high five.
Oh yeah,
handshake or
whatever that was.
That's when you made it, when you make it on Conan.
Oh yeah, I like Conan.
Your 80 million subscribers. That's when you get on Conan. That's when you made it.
But that was the way to do it. You would have tech shows. You would go to E3. You would have your console in a shiny little plastic case and show it off. But we didn't have that this year.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, is that we are living in 2020 in coronavirus.
And this 2020 is its own unique time.
There would have probably been showcases, and I know Sony said, I know this is Xbox, but also to Sony, it's apparent, and they've even admitted this, that everything Sony had planned got thrown off by coronavirus, because if you remember, they were not going to go to E3. Instead, they said that we're going to have this showcase that's going around everywhere, and we're going to be at shows all over, and we're going to be talking about it so much. And then, of course, in March, everything gets canceled, and you're sitting over at Sony, you're like, fuck. Because they were I think what they were really
now we're gonna have a really awkward digital conference where we have fake people's heads in front of a guy on a fake stage.
The Mark Cerny Power Hour.
Yeah. That was so. I mean,
I love it.
It got the information across. I enjoyed. It was just so awkward compared to how everyone else has approached their digital conferences.
I mean, it was better than Xbox first digital conference. Was
it's like with Nintendo. Nintendo, they know what they're doing.
Nintendo hasn't done anything. What are you talking about?
When they go to do their game announcements, it's like the direct format. I mean, is they've kind of perfected that.
I actually like it better too, because it's all in bite-sized information. I don't want to have to come to a 2-hour.
You don't have some man on a scooter jumping into a stage podium.
Ubisofts are always cringy, but also PlayStation stole the Nintendo thing, and they have the State of Play now, which is just as good as the Directs. When they do State of Play, those are fantastic.
I haven't watched it yet.
You haven't watched any of them?
No, I've never been available to watch them whenever they do it.
Such a Nintendo boy over there.
Well, Nintendo does it in the morning, and I could just wake up.
I forgot this guy classified the main console as Nintendo.
It's on YouTube. What do you mean?
But by the time I'm able to get the information, I've already seen it all on Twitter.
Sounds like
so I don't need to watch the presentation.
My guy, I don't know if I'm buying it.
It's like with Nintendo, I don't watch the Direct if I miss it. I just get the information through Twitter.
That's crazy.
That's kind of lame. You don't get intrigued one
I can Twitter at any time of the day. I can check Twitter at any time of the day. I can't sit down and watch a direct at any time of the day.
Dude, but you're missing.
I mean,
I don't
you
know.
kind of can.
I couldn't.
Hold on.
I
So do
know
you
I'm
just read
missing.
the text on Twitter, or do you like watch the videos on Twitter and stuff too?
Well, I don't prefer it that way. I would like, but like once I've seen the information, I'm like, what's the point? I'm not going to be as excited. Like that's why I try to prioritize watching them. But when I can't, and I already see the information, it's like, why do I need to sit here for an hour?
I think
You're
you
never
would
like
just be.
you're never like curious
would be
afterwards, or like when you are free to
wanna
just
see
kind of
what
like
it looks like.
I mean, I'll watch
watch
the
the
trailers. Like if they release like Demon
Okay.
Yeah.
Souls, I'll watch the Demon Souls
Okay,
trailer
okay.
over and over again.
Fair
But I'm
enough,
not going to
fair
sit down and watch the whole presentation again
All
because I've already
right.
got that information.
That's kind of why I like Nintendo's little bite-sized information direct stuff. You know what I mean?
Those mini
They're
directs
just,
are great because they're only like 20
yeah.
minutes, and you get like a whole bunch of games, and whether they may be something exciting or not, it's quick.
I don't know if
I
I
mean-
call them great. Yeah, I guess it's.
I mean,
quick.
I'm super excited to play that WWE game they
I was
launched
about
their
to say, that was
direct
like their
with.
big game on like,
IGN is also
the
useful because they usually segment out whatever streams the big ones do.
Mhm. I like watching personalities like Vinny Vinesauce. I'll watch him, his talking over it.
Yeah, if there's somebody I really like, maybe I'll watch how other people react to it. Certain influencers, as they're called
Mhm.
now, I guess. Which
You don't watch that one and react to it? How dare you?
Well, you don't post anything like that.
Yeah, I do. The last PlayStation event, I did a live reactions, and I post every
Well,
day.
did you post any reaction about Minecraft Steve? I don't think you did. Who am I supposed to watch for my Minecraft Steve and Smash fix?
I think I didn't.
Look, man,
You're right.
the week's not over yet. You never know.
Yeah, you're right. So
I usually tried to catch E3 and Nintendo's Directs, and
But,
CES.
But definitely, like you said, though, this year everything's just wildly different. So
Yeah.
you just kind of gotta take it all in stride.
Mhm.
yeah, I really think that's what it is. And honestly, I think Xbox is just doing better. They're adapting more to it. And at first, I think they're doing worse. Like I said, that first presentation they had where it was like a third party showing or something that they weren't even showing their exclusives.
Mhm.
It was
rough.
It
Weird.
didn't look good. It sounded bad. It looked like something from G4 back in 2007. Honestly, it was
coming
just
back.
really bad. But since then, they've really stepped it up a notch. And then also, I really think it's just PlayStation not saying anything. I mean, we're 49 days away from the PS5, and we don't even know what like the main menu looks like.
You
We
see
don't
this
know
problem
what-
with like specific games too, and we just don't know what's coming out or what.
And that's the
you know,
thing.
what's-
Like it was the same situation when the Switch came out. Like we didn't really know a lot about it till we had it in our hands. And I could be a similar situation where they don't have the
To be
software
fair,
side of it finished.
Do you think Switch would have sold anywhere as well as it did if it wasn't for if Breath of the Wild didn't come out?
Well, no,
No,
they
you've already-
really they had a home run with Breath of the Wild, and then Mario Odyssey, and Splatoon 2, and Smash. They rolled out all these big titles.
okay,
all
wait,
right
time
out the
out,
gate.
time out.
But like
Time
on
out, time out,
release,
time
you know.
No, they didn't. That was not all. Dude, what are you talking? Smash Ultimate was a year and a half later.
Yeah, those came out.
but,
Those
like,
came out. Those
that's
came out.
not
a lot
a
later.
launch.
Okay, if we're gonna talk about like the
Like,
first year we had
by
it,
the time Smash came out, Switch had already done like incredibly well.
we had Breath of the Wild. I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Super Mario Odyssey helped a lot. I think ARMS also helped a lot because it's a new IP from Nintendo, which they don't do very often. And
See,
whether you
I would say
or
it's the
not,
opposite because it just being a new IP makes people like not as willing to buy it as some of those other games like Mario and Zelda.
And Splatoon
Sure,
2, I know like
itself.
Andrew doesn't care for Splatoon, but I know there's a big audience for it. I think having
Was at
that,
least.
huh?
There was at least. I don't think anyone plays it anymore.
No, I think it's kind of had a big drop off since launch.
I mean,
but I
it
know
was
when it came
really
out,
big
it was a
at
big deal.
first. And
Especially, I think Mario Kart 8 is one of the best-selling titles on it, if I'm not wrong. That was
this is
smart to re-release it that summer.
This is so
Yeah.
off topic of
Sorry,
what we
my
were
bad.
talking about. No, it's fine. But I just want to say that the whole like, oh, look at all these great games selling on Switch and stuff
Mhm.
like that, like Mario Odyssey selling great, Mario Kart 8 selling great and stuff like that. That's just Nintendo because Nintendo doesn't make good consoles. so no one brings their games over except Bethesda apparently for some reason.
Which
But
we may see a decline in that now.
But third party doesn't bring their games over because their hardware usually sucks compared to the other competitors' hardware.
But
so
that was the thing.
course,
Back in Nintendo's peak,
when someone,
we did get those, demakes.
Well, I think it's also like less about like hardware power and also more like they started making their consoles really gimmicky, like the Wii and stuff.
Yep.
You can't translate some of your games to that gimmick, you know?
Well, no, it's the same thing here. It's a gimmick of it's also on the screen, but it's a handheld. That seems like a little gimmick.
But
like,
I think the Switch sees as much offerings on it as, say, the Nintendo DS would have. It still gets its third-party support, but just not the same titles that would be on the standard home console fare.
I don't know about that because Ubisoft and Activision and EA supported the DS. I don't know any games that are releasing on Switch that are by those guys at all. Even Ubisoft's jumped ship. Like,
bro,
they just don't
make games on Modern Warfare DS on Rust. Let's go.
But like my whole thing is that of course you're going to see these games. You're going to see Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sell gangbusters because when you bought the console on March 3rd, you got Breath of the Wild, and then what? The next big game was Puyo Puyo Tetris. Like no one cared about the next game.
On launch,
it did. I remember Jacob being excited for that though.
That's because there was nothing else.
Yeah. I just remember you talking specifically about that game.
I think like another reason the Switch sold really well is because it had the gimmick of being a home console and a portable system.
I think it sold really well because that whole portability thing. So it's kind of like Nintendo.
It is the most impressive handheld console we have had on the market
ever.
I'm not saying those stuff didn't factor into why it did well. I think they all did. I'm just curious how much of it.
I think we lost Roger.
It didn't.
He got too excited about it.
Yeah.
Hold on. Can you guys hear me now?
Like what I'm saying is that I think that of course you're gonna see these Nintendo games sell.
Oh, there he is.
Cut out, buddy.
Hey. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I got really hyped up for a point, and I completely lost my train of thought.
Understandable. It's okay. What I was gonna say is that so you see things like Animal Crossing sell massive numbers. Mm-hmm. When I think about it, the game. What came out before Animal Crossing? The last big game before Animal Crossing, Pokemon, and that game wasn't really that good. So if you're a Nintendo Switch owner and you don't like Pokemon, you've been waiting for 8 months, 9 months for a good game.
And that's what I was trying to get to too. Nintendo really they hit it out of the park at first, but they really blew their whole load right at the beginning, and we've just been kind of getting decent titles here and there. Like this year we've had Animal Crossing, which was
but I also think because it's also a handheld, you can do the smaller titles and that will hold you over for their big titles. Because I know me, Animal Crossing and was really big for me when I got it, and there was a waiting period from that game to the last game I had bought, which I forgot what it was. But I didn't mind getting the smaller games, the indie stuff, and playing them on the Switch.
Indies have just been all over the Switch. That's what you really get out of the Switch.
I also don't mind some of the grindy games on the Switch, like Diablo, or even for grinding for a shiny in Pokemon, where I can just do that while watching the TV. So I think that's where the handheld aspect of it kind of.
And that's what it excels at. It excels at being a very nice handheld.
That whole. But the whole indie thing too is that I think it has the same problem that PS4 eventually got, which was that indies were great on PS4 at the beginning, but you go on that Nintendo market now, and we're going to talk about the big games coming out. I picked 2 games because if I did every game that came out this week, Nintendo alone, there's so much shit that releases every single day. It's impossible to know what's good and what's not.
And there was another thing too I was trying to get to with the PlayStation is I think that could be a reason. Like with the Switch, we are not seeing much of it in hands because it could be just as bare bones as of a UI right now. And with the Switch, they just were like, okay, this worked. I don't know if we get the PlayStation, if it's just gonna be the cross media bar again.
And that is a legit worry. I don't know, and that's what. Yeah, getting back around to that, I agree with you. Is that maybe they're not showing it because they have nothing to show. Maybe that is just a cross media bar, and that's all they got.
They could have the hardware, but they don't have any software of any significance on it.
Yeah, we don't know. All right,
for all we know, it could just be the PS4 UI again.
I'd kind of be okay with that. Let it run.
Because from PS3 to PS4, there is a little variation. I mean, it's better that's more games focused, but it's basically the same thing.
Honestly. Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and move on since we've been talking about this.
We've already moved on, to be honest.
Yeah, I know that was our topic number 6, I guess, Nintendo, which we've talked about a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go
goes back to them.
About the big releases for this week. If you guys have any others that you want to chime in and be like, hey, I think this is a big release too, go ahead. Me personally, I only saw 2 big releases, both releasing on October 2nd, 2020. The first one is Star Wars Squadrons. I believe that's what it's called, Star Wars Squadrons.
Just came out.
Which is coming out to
this recording.
PC, PS4, and Xbox One. It's basically, it's just Star Wars, but you're in a fighter plane. It has a single-player story. It has multiplayer. You're in the spaceship the whole time. You can pick between like X-Wing and a Y-Wing and like a TIE Fighter, TIE Interceptor thing. What's really cool about it is that if you get it for PC or PS4, it is fully VR capable. You play the whole game in VR, which is awesome. So
that would be cool.
I know
on that, Roger, with your Xbox.
Yeah.
I know that is a negative. I want VR.
We'll talk about that some other time too. How Xbox screwed the pooch with Oculus. Totally should have made it compatible, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, that's coming out. That's one of the big games. And then the other big game. Does anyone know what it is?
Humor me.
Nope. Crash 4, guys. Come on, it's about time.
Oh, Crash that's already coming out.
So
yeah, that came out.
Second.
I didn't know that.
Bandicoot. It's got some. It's the same guys that did the Insane trilogy. Mm-hmm. I really should type the descriptions out for this so I could just read the descriptions. I'm just trying to go off the top of my head.
I've heard it's been getting nothing but really positive reviews from people who've been able to play it so far.
It looks just like Crash Insane trilogy, and that's what we want. So, yeah, it looks good, looks fun. I'm only going to get Star Wars because I'm buying the new Oculus in like a week and a half, and I was like, do we really need to drop $66 on Crash Bandicoot when I haven't even beat the first 3? No, so I canceled that. But do you guys think you're going to be picking up either of these games?
I think I'll definitely probably pick up Squadrons eventually. I'll probably end up getting Crash 4 before, just because I like platforming games a lot. I mean, if you look at my library of games, especially with Nintendo, it's all platformers.
Yeah. Is it coming out on Nintendo too?
No, it's just on Xbox and PlayStation.
Okay, that's right.
Unless they are going to do a thing like they have been, which is very infamous on the Nintendo, just release it like a year from now.
Yeah.
But I think it's been more designed around the current generation.
I agree.
Like home consoles.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Roger?
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, I like Crash Bandicoot, but my days of playing it are for the most part over. And I mean, Squadrons is cool and all. I'll just go to your guys' place and play it on the VR.
Personally, I really want to play Avengers, but I'm gonna wait till Spider-Man comes out on it.
I just don't see myself getting any of those anytime soon.
All right,
I got other stuff I'd rather play.
Mm-hmm. I'm just a massive.
Yeah, you should come over to our house, Roger, and play some games with us.
I'm a big sucker for VR, and I was saying earlier in Battlefront 1, they did do a post update where they let you do one mission. You're just like escorting this thing as a TIE fighter pilot, and it's really cool. Just looking around, you're like, I'm in a fucking TIE fighter, and then all of a sudden a Star Destroyer flows up, and you're like, holy shit! But you don't really fight anything. You just shoot some fighters. But you can see, I think it's the same guys that did that are making this game now. They're the ones that made the single player for Battlefront 2.
I want to ask you, what is the screen quality difference between the PlayStation VR and the Oculus 2?
The Oculus Quest 2 has a way better screen, has a better refresh rate. It's LCD screens. It doesn't have that, what do you call it, screen door effect on it. It's better, way better.
That's the thing. That's the big thing that's held me back from really enjoying VR on my PlayStation is there are games I like to play, like games that aren't like Super Hot or Beat Saber, because you don't really notice that, like the pixels and everything on that. They're very stylized, but for something like that, I would probably, if I got it on PlayStation, just play it normally.
Buy it on PC.
If I end up getting the Quest, which I would like to, if I were to be able to get my tax refund someday.
I was wanting to play like the Ace Fighter or whatever in VR. I always thought that would be something that'd be really cool.
Oh yeah, no, I played that Ace Combat 7 in VR.
Yeah,
dude, it's so cool. Yeah, because you're just in a jet and you can feel it and you go and it's awesome. I played so much.
It looks like it'd be the best thing ever. Honestly, that'd probably be like one of the things. And Squadrons is anything like that, then
which from what
that's got to be really cool.
It is a lot like that because I think the pilot simulator when you're in the cockpit works really well in VR, which just makes sense because it's like you're actually there. All right, well, those are the big releases for this week, at least the ones I saw. Of course, there's so many other games coming out. Go check them all on all your platform of choice. I'm going to go ahead. Usually, I want to do the free games that you can get this week, but I want to save it till next week because I know that not all of them are announced yet. So we're going to hold off on that, and then I'll go ahead and let you know what's coming to PS Plus the week for the Epic Game Store, and what's coming up to Xbox Gold and things like that, so we can kind of give you an update of that. Not going to do that this time.
So I get updated on that too.
Yeah, so we can also tell each other, like, hey, go to the Epic Game Store every week. Free game. Like, literally free, which is so nice. But other than that, we would have questions at the end here. Been running a little long already. I can't really think of any questions. If you guys from now on, this might work out a little better too, because I am juggling both this podcast and the history podcast around, and I have to think of questions for both, and I gotta be like, what are we going to talk about, and the structure of it and things like that. So I kind of forget about the questions at the end. If you guys have any questions, you, Roger and Jake specifically, if you have any questions that you could bring or you want to talk about, maybe you want to talk about, is Animal Crossing a good game? Or maybe you want to talk about what is the best Xbox game or anything like that, you can go ahead and do that. Maybe we'll do that for this ending episode.
I do have one question for you, Andrew.
Yeah.
What are you what are you doing after this? You want to go get something to eat or
oh my goodness,
hang out?
After this,
I'm just jealous that we're the second favorite podcast. So.
We're just the back burner. We're just kind of like,
I'm going to be honest. Everyone, go check out Doomed to Repeat, a history podcast. It is popping off way more than this, which I kind of understand because I was talking to guys at work about it, and like it was weird. They asked me, "Do you do podcasts?" And I was like, "Actually, coincidentally, I do now. Yes, I have 2 of them." And I told them first, like, "Oh, the first one's a video game one," and they're like, "Oh, okay." And then I was like, and the other one, I was like, "Is a history one?" Like, "Oh, a history one. That sounds interesting." I think people are just more generally interested in something like that.
Yeah, I think so too, especially with the
when it comes to video game news too, like it's you kind of have a lot of established outsources for it.
Well, not only that, but it's also just like people like video games.
Everyone just stopped watching the show, honestly, because it's not something we care about.
Honestly, we're just gonna merge with our history one. Is what we're gonna happen.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about gaming history from this point on.
Hey,
nothing new.
Maybe that's another spin-off podcast if stuff gets big enough.
We could throw that in the mix every now and then. We don't have to talk about what's new in the news. A lot of people hear what it is.
This day in history for video games. That's actually not a bad idea, honestly. Maybe we will start adding some more segments.
Did you know no one actually knows when the original Super Mario Brothers came out in North America?
Yep, I think everyone knows that. As to answer your question, Jake, though, I'm probably going to get a drink of water and go to bed because it's late and I work in the morning. Anyways, I think that about wraps it up for this podcast, though. If you guys, Roger, Jake, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah, we are recording this. It is past midnight already.
Yeah, it's officially the launch of Crash Bandicoot. It's at 4. It's about time in Star Wars Squadrons.
Roger had to do something until 10, so we had to record late, which is fine. It's just we got a little tired a little quickly. So thank you so much for listening or watching wherever you're finding this. Remember, you can find this on podcast services around the globe, including Google Podcasts, iTunes, and of course, you can watch this on YouTube, youtube.com/thatoneandrew. I want to thank Roger for joining us today. I want to thank Jake for joining us today. And I want to thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Go ahead and tell your friends about us, rate us. Everything helps. Stick around for next time where we'll talk about even more great video game news. And we'll see you guys in the next podcast episode. Goodbye.
Later.
Bye.